Alright, so I have talked about this before. Oh, Cambridge Police Car 224. Yep, there's that car just drove past me. Yeah, I've talked before about this. It's been kind of a while. P989AR, New York. Yeah, there have been lots of others. I mean, like, I haven't seen another police car, I don't think, today. Yeah, you know, this is one of those days when I have a lot to do, and I also just, like, can't psychologically deal with it. I don't want to deal with it. You know, I mean, I document this stuff every day, it never stops. You know, it's very depressing. But anyway, I've talked about it before. I've talked about, what my initial hesitations were in terms of, like, dating one of these guys, like those famous, very famous people right at the beginning. I mean, like, it really, honestly, their fame was extremely terrifying to me. I was like, man, you know, I mean, 2 weeks I spent with this person, a week. If he like flies from Run at all, and I spend a day with him, it'll be like, you know, front page news everywhere, and millions of people will know who I am within a few days, and I don't know if I can deal with that. And I knew that everybody that I had ever known, who had a bad story to tell about me would tell it, and that would be painful. You know, as malicious as they might be, you know, people would probably, you know, I feel like the thing I think I was thinking about, I've said it before, but of course no one does care, is that if I had ever said yes to one of these guys, I'm sure that he would have done whatever he could to suppress those stories, you know, or to get people to stop talking about them, that kind of thing. But because I said no to these guys, and also have you know, been critical of them, they like to go back to those stories over and over again as a way to excuse, you know, the miserable way that they have treated me since. I think that has a lot to do with it. You know, they just obsess about these stories from 10 years ago, 20 years ago, however long ago it was, you know, to just try to make themselves feel better about how horrible they've been to me. I mean, that's true. And the conglomerate likes to talk about those stories over and over again, try to excuse how much it's tortured me, and to try. It's like the shell game. You know, I don't know another way to say it. Maybe it's the wrong way to say it. You know, but it's like, hey, look at this thing Lena did 15 years ago. And don't look at the way we're trying to make child molestation legal, or voyeurism, or any of those things. You know, and certainly don't blame us, you know, for the way that we're treating her, because obviously she just was never punished enough, because these other people said so, right? But it's also, as far as like where I'm at with things, another hesitation that I had at the beginning was like, you know, even famous guys who are my age, I was just like, all right, well, you know, I know I'm not bad looking for my age, but that kind of wasn't really the point. I was like, I knew it wasn't just a question of like my being their age and looking the way that I looked at their age. It would also be a question of, and even other women my age who were beautiful that they would be meeting all the time. It was also a question of like all the women who would continue to be younger than me, you know, women who would, you know, like women who would be, I mean, at that time I was about 35, and I was like, all right, but you know, I mean, a guy my age can easily date someone who's in her late 20s, and they're not going to get any less good looking, and I'm not going to get more good looking. I mean, I've got it. I don't know what it might be like to be married to one of these guys, or trying to date one of them, you know, with women all over the place. You know, wanting to date them for all kinds of reasons. I was like, man, that doesn't sound like much fun to me. You know, never feeling secure in my relationship. Never, you know. I would never, I was just like, I don't think I would ever feel that way. And now I can see that that's true. Oh, look, police car 223. Yeah, there's two of them just in the video. Yeah, you know, I mean, I just felt like, for me, the idea that like these are guys to be fought over is a stupid idea, you know, stupid and silly, and not something I was ever interested in. As far as and so like all the people who have shown up to like try to fight with me over these guys, I've been like, all right, well, if they want you can have them. Really, pretty much for the most part, I'm like, I'm not interested in getting into like. I'm not, they tried to set me up for catfights like over and over and over again, and unless I felt like I was really being degraded in some way, then I was just like, I'm not doing this. really. You know, I mean, what I would object to is the way that I was getting treated, you know, but I'm not going to tell somebody, you know, that they have to choose me over someone who's younger and more beautiful, you know. I mean, as long as she's like age appropriate, I'm not going to, I've never said that. I've never said that, you know. I've said stop abusing me, but I have not like tried to tell people like, you know, I mean, I haven't done that, you know. I've sometimes given my opinion. It wasn't, you know, I tried not to have it be a selfish opinion. So as far as the idea of like now I've gotten so much older, it's like, what, you know, I mean, if you think the things that I say are harsh now, you should have heard what I was saying you should have heard what I was saying 5 or 6 years ago. I mean, the things that I was calling them every single day they're jerks, you know, they're jerks. And as far as like what they look like is concerned, I don't know. I mean, the people who are watching the situation who are so vicious to me, you know, the media and corporations, people who like make all these ads and do all this stuff, I don't know if they are just continuously unsympathetic to me because they feel like, you know, I mean, poor you've got, you know, there's all these movie stars who were interested in you. What do you, I mean, it's just like, so why should we feel sorry for you? It's like, well, it didn't work out, did it? Look, it's not even just a question of like my not getting a boyfriend. I mean, look at what they've actually put me through. I never felt a shred of guilt about it. Not enough to really change the way they do things, so that they never do it again, no matter how they feel. You know, I mean.